Welcome back to Paddy's Golf Tips. This could be the holy grail for a lot of people. How to get the club face square at impact. As usual, there's a little twist to this.
The winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Padraig Harrington.
What you've got to learn actually is where your hands are or where the club face is at impact in order to know when to get it square. So what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of people out there assume, I'm watching a lot of amateurs when I'm playing pro-ams, they assume that the body has a lot to do with where the club face is at impact. So a lot of people will think, well, if I turn more, I'll get the club face open. Well, if I square up more, I'll get the club face shut, and things like that. Your hips have an effect on where your torso is. Your torso has an effect on where your shoulders are. Your shoulders have an effect on where your arms are. Your arms have an effect on where your wrists are. But the only thing that controls the club face is your wrists and hands, nothing else. Okay, these are the only thing. That's why we like to have a good grip, and we've talked about the grip before. You know, all in the fingers of the left hand, thumb on top, and then the pad goes on. You can see that's quite high. You don't want it like that. That's quite not a secure grip. You want it much more down the fingers, thumb on and pad, fingers of the right hand, and it sits in there. Okay, so that gives you good motion. Anybody with a strong grip, you're setting up for a lot of problems. A strong grip is usually when the right hand is over here, and you can see a lot of this grip. A weak grip is this way, not so bad. So some people can play pretty decent golf with the right hand over the top. Very hard to play good golf with the right hand under, like so. But all that has a relevance to where the club face is. The only thing that controls where that club face is your grip. So yes, you could open up your body excessively and it would affect where your arms are and your hands are, and your hands would have to recover from there, but it's still your hands that are doing the recovery to get the club face. So most people, as I said, have no idea where their club face is, have no idea what their hands are doing through impact, and they're so much more focused on their body. But ultimately your hands, and this is what this is all about, learning where the club face is, and you're going to do that by learning where your hands are at any given time, well, at impact, I suppose. So for me, this is quite clear. You can have a shut club face, an open club face, or a square club face. You can have a D-loft, a normal loft, or adding loft, and you can swing in, square, or outside the line. That's 27 different shots at a basic level. Obviously there's minute details that you can add in, deep plane, you can add in lots of other things, but I'm only asking you to learn 2 shots. It's all you need to know is 2 shots in order to know where the club face is. Very simple. We're going to exaggerate left and right, shut and open, in order to establish where square is. We're not trying to actually try and get the club face square, because that's what a lot of people go for, that minutia, but we're actually going to go way one side of it shut and way the other side open, and the more you go left and right, that will get tighter and tighter, and eventually you'll have a fair idea of how to square the club up. So very simple drill. We're only going for those 2 things. One, we want you to get the club face, and again, because this is a drill, you've got to swing well within yourself. We're talking maybe 70% speed. We're not talking, like, if the idea is to play at 90%, you do practice at 100% sometimes, but you play at 90. When you're actually training something, you tone it down quite a bit to start off with. So we're down here at 70%, nearly a long chip shot. So if I've got a 7-iron in my hand, and I will start off, everybody should hit a couple of shots to see how far their club is going, whatever one they pick. I'm picking a 7-iron here. I hit it 190 yards. I'm going to tone this down. I'm probably going to be aiming around 150 yards with this shot, just to make it easy and more relaxed about what I'm doing. Okay, so the 2 shots we're trying to get here, we're going to try and learn how to get the club face. If that was square, we're going to try and learn how to get the club face shut, way shut at impact, and then we're going to try and learn how to get the club face way open at impact. Those 2 exaggerations. What you will tend to find, and this comes back to what I said at the start, most people think that their body dictates where the club face is, and they spend a lot of time working on the club face to they spend a lot of time working on their body to determine their swing plane. Possibly, and I'd say for the majority of people, the reality is if you get your club face right, your body will follow and your swing path will follow. So if you're somebody who slices the ball, trying to work on body positions to cure the slice, you're better off working on the club face, and then your body positions will follow the club face rather than the other way around. So let's see what we're going to do here. So for me, I'm pretty good here. I'm going to take a normal setup, and when I swing down, I'm just going to shut the club face down. Now, you can either shut it down by bowing that left wrist down and under like so, or bringing the right wrist over the top. You can start off with it shut and make a normal swing. Okay, so you've got two options, but we want to learn how to get this shut. Now, as you can see here, this is where I'm square, but the minute I start shutting the club face, I don't want to lose the golf balls in the rubbish over here, so I'm aiming way right, and it's going to make me draw the ball. And look, I've hit a great big hook. I've hit the ball with that club face, or at least the feeling of that club face. It probably was more that way, but it was the feeling of a real shut club face. I can do that from a square position. So I'll just wrap it down. As I'm coming in, I'm just wrapping it down over like so. So I'm learning what shut is. The only time that shot would be practical on the golf course is if I was going around the tree, coming out of the rubbish, something like that. I would say every second shot, so shut. Now I'm going to do the open. I'm going to set it open and grip, and I hit this big high cut. Okay, again, wouldn't be very useful on the golf course except if you were coming out of trouble. I can do that from a square position. Just flip the club under. So as I'm coming in there, I'm just flipping the club as much as I can underneath. It's a big exaggeration. And if you swung the club like that all the time, it would be no use to you. But if you're reversing these two over and over and getting a feeling for shut, and then get a feeling for what open is, all of a sudden you have a sense of what your hands are doing. Remember, your hands control your body, not the other way around. Do not make it, your hands control the club face and where your body is. Do not make it body centric. Body centric is at the very end for really elite golfers who've already learned where their hands are. For most people, and I mean most people down to very low single figure golfers, it's very much about knowing where your hands are at, and simply you can reduce how much you hook and cut it, but simply at the start, nice and relaxed. I'm going to go for the cut there. You can see I'm starting to angle the club back, open it up, and get that feeling. There's another side to this, you know. This is why I think Harvey Penick said this. Practicing your chipping teaches you where the club face is, and by extension makes you a better full swinger of the golf club. Practicing your long swing never makes you a better chipper. So a lot of time practicing your chipping, again, you could be practicing your chipping and again smothering it by driving that right hand over the top. And to be honest, I don't care how you figure out how to do it, as long as you can figure out how to get that club face shut or open. In this case, I'm going to flick it open just like that. And the more I flick back and forth, the more I will understand where my club face is. And the beauty of this drill is, as I said, once you get used to what shut is at impact, your body will start responding to where you need to be to hit the shot. So if I shut that down, I know it's going to go left. So all of a sudden, I'm going to move a little bit to the right, start it right with a big draw. But the key for everybody, you've got to learn how to manage to get that thing shut and going left, and open and going right. And if you can figure those two things out, then you can build up a little bit more speed, get used to it. You can reduce the size of how much open and how much shut it is, how much open it is. You can reduce that over time, but the main thing at the start is a big exaggeration of the move. Get it as shut as you possibly can. What you will probably find down the road, and this is why I said, if you started off and you hit a few full 7-irons, I'd say for an amateur, say you're hitting that 7-iron 150 yards, you start doing this drill and you bring it down to like 70%, you will actually find that this strong club face one, with it shut, will actually go to 150 yards even at 70%, and the cut one, no matter how hard you hit it, you'll never get it to 150 yards. So how far you hit the golf ball with an iron and a little bit with the driver has a lot to do with where your club face is than your swing speed. So having a stronger or a shut club face will definitely give you more distance, and you will find that as you practice this, you will probably edge to hitting 2 shots with the stronger shut club face and only 1 shot with the open club face. But at the start, let's do exactly 1 for 1, open and shut. Very, very simple. Keep it well within yourself. I'm going to do a nice square setup, normal setup here. I'm aiming a bit into the middle of the range now because of the fact I'm going to shut the club face down and draw it. And I've got a very nice draw going there. Shut it down, okay? That's going to come on top. The left wrist is going to feel like it's bowing down that way, okay? And again, open up, I'd move this way. And as you see, you can start setting it back already and getting the feeling of that club flipping underneath the ball. As I said, nearly like a long flop shot. And we got that big cut shot. Please get awareness of that club face. It is the key to playing good golf. There's only 2 things you need to be, if you come new to the game, there's only 2 things you need to learn to become a good golfer. You need to learn how to swing the club very athletically. So that's as fast as you can. That's the same athleticism you would have used when you're throwing a ball, swinging a stick when you were a kid. Okay, swing the club as fast as you can, or at least learn to swing the club as fast as you can. Don't worry about anything. If you can swing it faster, that's more efficient. And then, once you learned how to be athletic, you then need to learn where the club face is. Only 2 things. This teaches you where the club face is, and we'll talk again in another video about how to make your swing athletic.